Welcome to my fourth tutorial. In this video we'll be talking about how to create animations with processing using Java. So if you watched my first video, I showed how I created an animation with the sun rising and cars going across the screen. In this video I'll be showing you guys how to do something like that. So the first thing you want to do is to set up the project. So you do void setup with the parentheses, and I want the screen or the window to be 1000 by 1000. So I'll do size 1000 by 1000. Okay, so now you have to make the draw function. So I'll just create that. And now in the draw function, I want to create a background color so that when it's animating, you don't want to have the those streaks going across the screen. So I'll make the background color blue because it's the sky. So you know, a blue's appropriate color. So I think that's 0, 0. I think that's blue. So let's go ahead and run that. Okay, that could work. So now you want to make the ground. So you do rect. So now we want it on the bottom. So I'll do, let's say, 500 by. Actually no, because this is the x-axis. So you want it closer toward the corner. So you do 0, 500. And then since my background size is 1000 by 1000, I'll make it 1000 by 1000. And let's go ahead and run that. Wait, no, we need to set a color first. So let's make that black. Actually no, yeah, black. Okay, so now we have a road and we have a sky. So let's go ahead and X that out. The next thing we want to do is to create a moon. So let's go ahead and create a new method. Let's call this method moon. So void moon, and let's just do that. And we want the moon to be, let's say, silver. So we do fill. And the color for silver or gray, like 192. And let's create the moon. And now we want the moon to be like in the middle of the map, so we'll do 500 by 500. And let's make the size 100 by 100. Okay, now to see the moon drawn on the map, you'd have to call the moon method into the draw function. So here we have void moon. So let's put moon before the ground. So you do moon, and that will create a moon before the ground. So the moon would appear behind the ground scene. So let's see what that looks like. So here we have our moon in the back. Now let's make the moon rise. So before the moon method, you type int moon y equals 500. And then in the moon method, you type moon y equals moon y minus 1. It's minus 1 because the moon is rising, so you want it to go minus 1 on the y-axis. So for that to be effective, you have to type moon y into the y position in the ellipse. So you do moon y, and that should make the moon rise. So here we have the moon rising. Now let's make some cars. So to do that, you'd have to create a new method called car. So you do void car. So we want the car at about 0 on the x-axis, so let's just make a variable called x and set it equal to 0. And here, let's make the color of the car red. So you do fill 255 0 0. And let's make the car a rectangle. You could use any shapes you want, but for the sake of this video, let's use a rectangle because it's quicker. So you do rect x, which equals to 0, and 480. I'm doing 480 because the ground level is 500, so you want it a little bit above the ground level, so I just do 480. And then you want to make the car, let's say 40 by 10. Okay, now let's see what this creates. Okay, so now we have our car right here in the corner. Now we need to put wheels on it. So to do that, you do ellipse and give the ellipse the x value of x, which is 0, so you do x and 490, so a little bit below the car, and 10 by 10. Now let's give the ellipse a color, so let's make the color white. So above the ellipse, type fill 255, and that's supposed to be white. Okay, so here we can see our tires, half of it because it's cut off because we set the car at 0, but once the car starts moving, you'll see the full wheel. Now let's make another wheel. You do ellipse, and then you do x plus 30, and then put it on the same y-axis, so that'll be 490, and same size, 10 by 10. And now let's see what that makes. Okay, so now we have 2 wheels. It's a little too much above the ground, so let's just make the wheels a little bigger, 20 by 20. Okay, now we need to make the car bigger. Trial and error. So let's make the car 20. Okay, you know what? That should just work for now. Now we want the car to move. So you do x equals x plus 1. And then you run that. And there we have our messed up car rolling across the street. To duplicate a car, what you want to do is copy this and paste it beneath it, and just give it car 2 and set a new variable called integer x2 equals, let's say 80. And now you want to replace the x's with x2's. And this should make another car before. Wait, we forgot to put car 2 into the function. So after car 1, put car 2. Wait. And that should work. Okay, now we have 2 cars going across the screen with a rising moon. Okay. Okay guys, I'll see you in the next video when I'll be talking about loops.